Are you serious? Are you serious, folks? According to the Drudge Report, President Obama isn't the only one making a trip and a visit to Alaska this week. While he's changing Mount McKinley, changing his name of the mountain, the Chinese have 5 warships off the coast of Alaska. According to a new report from the Pentagon officials, the United States military has spotted 5 Chinese Navy ships off the coast of Alaska in the Bering Sea. Are you serious? Headed in the direction of the Aleutian Islands. The presence of these Chinese ships, including 3 combat ships, a replenishment vessel, and an amphibious ship, marks the first time that the Navy, the United States military, has ever reported seeing any such activity in the area. And of course, this is according to the Wall Street Journal reports. Now, although China's defense ministry could not be reached by the journal for comment, the presence of Chinese warships close to U.S. territories, folks, very disturbing. And it's likely connected to China's efforts to ramp up its military activity as its economic power expands. And I don't think we need to characterize, folks, anything they're doing as threatening, said one defense official. But what else do you want to... what else is it? What else is it? Of course it's threatening. It's a show of force. Well, maybe it's because 3 of their chemical plants exploded for no reason. And eyewitnesses saw something, two different, what they thought was meteorites crashing into one of them. And there's rumors that the Rod of God weapon is being used by both the United States and the Chinese. And maybe it has something to do with the currency manipulation going on by both nations, both China and the United States, messing with the currencies, trying to get the advantage over the other one in the world global markets. This could be the beginning of a hostile Cold War. Have you ever heard of that one? I'm not sure. Maybe it's the rise of China and the beginning of the Illuminati. The formation of strength and a new world order. Are you saved? Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're truly living in the last days. We are in the last days. Serious? Are you serious? This is insane. But in Germany, asylum seekers, those who are they're asking for asylum, they started rioting over a Koran. The Koran was found in the toilet in the restroom. It went crazy there. 18 people were injured and sent to the hospitals. Journalists had to flee for their lives. Literally all hell broke loose as these people seeking asylum. These are the folks trying to find asylum, political asylum. Matter of fact, these group of 50 asylum seekers, mostly from Syria, attacked the police and the press. 18 people injured, sent to the hospital, including 6 police officers. This took place in Germany in an overcrowded reception center. Now, the incident has shaken Germany, which will receive about 800,000 asylum seekers this year, and where all asylum centers are already overcrowded. An asylum seeker from Afghanistan had allegedly torn a Koran to pieces and thrown parts of it into a toilet. It evolved into that 20 men chased this Afghanistan man, but he was rescued by local security personnel. But that just made the Syrian men even more furious. Now, these were Muslim Syrians seeking asylum in Germany. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. It made these Muslim Syrian men even more furious, and they began to attack the security personnel. When police showed up and took the Afghanistan man away, the attackers became even more aggressive. And these are people who are begging to escape a war-torn country of Syria and find refuge in the nation of Germany. And Germany's nice enough to give them a chance. But listen, look at how radical they are. Look how blinded they are. These are supposed to be the moderate Muslims. Hello, are you listening? So the furious mob started to attack the police and the attending journalists. Folks, this is just insane, okay? It's just insane what's happening here. And now let me just share something with you. Here's the problem I have with the whole thing. These are Muslims wanting to live in Germany. Obviously, though, they're willing to go to great violence if something don't go the way they want it to. For instance, a Koran tore up, thrown in the toilet by another Muslim who obviously was renouncing his beliefs in Islam and seeking asylum in Afghanistan. Now, we have Christians in Syria getting their heads cut off, being crucified on crosses, raped, executed, murdered, beheaded. And these Christian Syrians can't find refuge. We're not letting them in America. They're not the ones getting asylum. It's the Muslims who are not being, not nearly as much. Certainly there are Muslims who are also being killed. Believe me, they are. But you would think for sure you would be trying to help the Christians, and the Christians would be so thankful, and they would not be attacking your police in Germany. And the Obama administration is not helping with the Christians being slaughtered by ISIS. I mean, Vladimir Putin, at least, is going to go over there. According to information we have, he's going to go over there and he's going to smash ISIS. I mean, are you serious? This situation is ugly, and they're showing you just how ugly it is when you try to help them. Are you serious? Don't miss today's live broadcast, 12 noon Eastern, Bible prophecy, Bible teacher Paul Franklin. Bible teacher Paul Franklin will be on our broadcast. He has a powerful PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to show it to you live. He will be on the phone with me going through it. It's the return of the Nephilims. As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a powerful, powerful program. 12 noon Eastern. My website, www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. That's www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. Are you serious? Are you serious? Folks, 100 goats have died in India in the last 4 days. A mysterious die-off of goats in India is stunning the villagers there, and of course putting a very, very financial strain upon them that live there. Now, I was looking at this village, and it is not in the part of India where I was at, and where I'm going actually to preach a crusade. I'll be in Orissa, India. Very poor, a very poor area. Matter of fact, we have 2 orphanages in India that Paul Begley Prophecy Ministry that we support, and we have for many, many years, even before, I'm talking back when I was a child. And so my mom and dad, of course, ministry has been supporting them for many years, probably 35 years. And Paul Begley Prophecy, we support both orphanages every month in the feeding, the clothing, with the just all the overall care of over 100 children. And so I'll be going back to India very soon, holding a 3-day crusade. 50 pastors are coordinating with me. There will be over 6,000 people that will gather for 3 days. I'll preach to them. Also, I'll visit some villages like you're witnessing in front of you right there, and pray for the sick and reach out to those that are hurting. Also visit the orphanages we have and check on them. I'll get a lot of footage for you so you can see all that. It is a very tough trip, I can tell you. It's a very, very poor area. And I know this. When I was there, I ate goat stew. I can tell you that that's a delicacy because of the poverty. So these goats dying is putting a huge financial strain. They get their milk from the goats. They eat the goats occasionally, but they have to be, not too often. So it's very important. Pray for these folks. Something biblical is going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ. We're in the last days. Are you serious? Are you serious, folks? Kim Davis, you're looking at right there. She is a county clerk for Rowen County, Kentucky. She is refusing to issue marriage license to anyone. Doesn't matter if it's a straight couple or if it's a gay marriage license requested. She refuses to give anybody a license because she's not going to discriminate against anyone. But at the same time, she will not break her convictions and her religious faith with God and issue gay marriage license. Now, she's not just somebody new to the scene. This is a woman that's been in the position. She has been working in the clerk's office and for 27 years. Everybody in that county knows this woman. Everybody that's got married in the last 27 years there had to get a license from her. She's a devout Christian, dedicated to God and her faith. And even though the Supreme Court of the United States orders her to start issuing gay marriage license, she refuses. She says, and this is Rowen County, Kentucky clerk Kim Davis, said she was not issuing a marriage license under God's authority. Now, this Christian official has refused to issue these marriage licenses to same-sex couples in Kentucky despite exhausting all of her legal options. 2 gay couples denied licenses have requested Rowen County clerk Kim Davis to be held in contempt of court. But they asked a district judge to punish Mrs. Kim Davis by fining her rather than sending her to jail. But now there's already been request to the Secretary of State and to the governor of Kentucky to have Kim Davis arrested and prosecuted for not performing her duties as a state and county employee. The United States Supreme Court yesterday rejected the argument that Kim Davis's faith prevented her from carrying out her duty. Despite court orders to continue issuing licenses, Mrs. Davis turned away 2 gay couples seeking marriage Tuesday morning. Now, Mrs. Davis, who cannot be removed from her post because she is an elected official, stayed inside her office with the blinds closed as the couples demanded to see her. She eventually came out, but she said she would not issue any licenses. Under whose authority, she was asked. She responded, under God's authority. Dozens of reporters and activists, both supporters and opponents of gay marriage, filed the waiting area of the Rowen County Clerk's office, alternatively chanting, "Do your job, do your job, stand," and others were chanting, "Stand firm, stand firm." One of the men seeking a license was David Arnold. He said he and his partner would not leave the office until they were married. Mrs. Davis replied, "Then you're going to have a long day." Well, it looks like the showdown is taking place in no better state than Kentucky. Let me just say this. No better state in the Union than Kentucky. I can tell you, my mom and dad were born in Kentucky. My dad was born in Hazard, Kentucky. My mom was born in Jackson, Kentucky. And I lived in Kentucky, actually, for 8 almost 9 years. I lived in Shelbyville, Kentucky, and Louisville, Kentucky. And I can tell you, this is a Bible Belt state, God-fearing, Bible-thumping, pew, altar bumping, pew jumping. These are the born-again believers. And, they're not playing church down there. They are the church of Jesus Christ. And so I praise this young lady for standing her ground. I understand she's in a very precarious situation. It's easy for anyone to say, hey, she's doing what she's got to do, and I do the same thing. I'm not so sure everybody would do the same thing. She's facing 27 years of pension potentially being taken from her. She is facing humiliation, even death threats. She is being criticized and slandered all over the social media and now the major mass media. And yet this woman of faith continues to stand her ground because she knows, and folks, you might say, well, I disagree with her position. All right, but you have to admit whether you agree with her position or not. Do you believe the United States federal government has the right to infringe on your faith? Do they have the right to force you to do something that is against your belief? And it's not like it's some kooky new cult that came up with some weird thing that goes against the rules of society. We're talking about the institution of marriage that's as old as Adam and Eve. All right? We're talking about America founded on the principles of the Bible, all of a sudden making a about-face turn toward darkness, and to decide all of a sudden they're going to impose their this new cultural shift upon even the Bible-believing Christians. And folks, this is why she has a right. She was not elected clerk to issue gay marriages. They changed the rules in the middle of the game. And she is saying, look, you people can go to the next county and get a license. You don't have to come here. I'm not giving these out. But the next counties next to me, they are. Just go there, get a license. You don't have to come here. I'm not going to serve. And if the next time the elections come around, if the people of this state do not want me to be the clerk, they'll vote me out. But if they vote me in, then they know my position. Let me just tell you something. When I lived in Kentucky, there's what's called dry counties and wet counties. A lot of states don't have this, but Kentucky still does. Certain counties in Kentucky, it's illegal to drink alcohol. It's called a dry county. You cannot drink alcohol in those counties. You cannot buy it and you cannot sell it. You can go to the next county and drink if you want to, but don't bring the alcohol back into that county. It's against the law. Now, folks, you could argue, well, wait a minute. It's our constitutional right to drink if we want to. That's true. It is, but not in those counties. Folks, the same precedent would hold with this. And I think that needs to be her new legal. Look, I'm not a lawyer, but I would recommend that would be take a look at that from a religious standpoint. Take a look at that in the same way, and that should be her counter legal position to the court. But at this point, she's out of options, they say. She has no more options left. The Supreme Court has ordered her. And if she continues to refuse, then you may see Mrs. Kim Davis arrested and taken to jail. Can you imagine a faithful public servant of 27 years, a devout Christian respected in her community, being overrun by the federal government and forcing people to go against their faith? If this happens to Kim Davis, then you can get ready for your next appointment at your local FEMA camp, because it is coming and it's not far away. Are you saved? Give your life to Jesus Christ and stand firm. Time is running out. Are you serious? Are you serious? Well, what will America do next? And the Obama administration looks like they're willing to put a Band-Aid on a hemorrhage. That's right, because it seems they're very close now to having the votes to ratify this Iranian nuke deal and to let it go through, despite the screams of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel and 80% of the American public. It still doesn't matter. Congress is going to let it go through. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. Well, the moment this Iranian nuclear deal becomes law, as it seems increasingly that it will, the congressional support for the agreement is very close now, and the focus of the U.S.-Israeli conversation will shift to the question of what's next. What more will Washington do to mitigate the Iranian threat and resume and give assurances, if you will, to Israel and to the regional allies? Well, for starters, President Barack Obama seems ready to offer an array of security enhancements, among them accelerating and increasing defense assistance to Israel over the next decade, increasing the U.S. military presence in the Middle East, stepping up in enforcement of non-nuclear related Iranian sanctions, enhancing U.S. indications against disruptive Iranian activity in the region, and increasing cooperation on missile defense. Now, these are all emphasis, of course, on keeping any of the tens of billions of dollars to which Iran will gain unfettered across and through the sanctions relief from reaching Iran's proxies. In other words, Iran's going to get this $100 million worth of freed up assets, and we're not going to control how they use it or spend it, and it will make its way to Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthi rebels in Yemen, Al-Qaeda, help President Assad in Syria, the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. I don't know, it probably wind up with Boko Haram in Nigeria, and maybe some of it goes to Al-Shabaab in Somalia. I mean, basically, Iran sponsors terrorism all over the world. And now they're going to get their hands on an extra $100 billion. And they'll be turning those centrifuges as fast as they can in the process of creating their own nuclear arsenal. So Obama wants to put a Band-Aid on the hemorrhaging of the relationship with Israel. Now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is not wanting to be seen as endorsing the deal, while there's still a chance Congress could scuttle it, has directed Israeli officials not to engage with U.S. officials on what could be done after the deal is placed. The Israeli envoy to Washington, Ron Demer, has said that Israel would be ready for discussions only after options to kill the agreement formally are known, as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action are exhausted. So until this deal is done, Netanyahu don't even want to talk about what do we do now. He's still fighting to end it. But if it ends, of course, they will be at the table to figure out now, okay, America, how much will you give us to help us protect ourselves from this disaster you've just created? I mean, isn't it really unbelievable? But if you understand the military-industrial complex and the multiple billions of dollars it's made by defense contractors to constantly keep upping the ante for everybody to try to have the ability to attack if they need to and to defend if they have to. And that's where all this money is made. I mean, basically in America, it's made in the military-industrial complex. It's made in healthcare and insurance. It's made in energy. I mean, those three things just take up about 80% of the total revenue required for a nation like the size of America. The rest of it just trickles down to whoever else can catch a piece of it, which is very little. This is part of the problem. We have horrible horrible immigration policies that are just killing us. We're bankrupt from the Obamacare bill, and we're watching our own society morally decay and rot from within. Our relationships with our closest allies have been literally almost severed. So disgusting has the foreign policy of the current administration been that and all the president's worried about doing is changing the name on a mountain and slapping a dead president in the face while he does that. William McKinley, who was assassinated serving his nation. You know, I'm just to the point now where it's unreal. I'm going to be in West Monroe, Louisiana on March the 12th. I've rented the Civic Center there in West Monroe, Louisiana. And I want you to come and help me. It's going to be a powerful prophecy conference. And the theme, Take Back America. Bible Prophecy Conference. This will be such a prophetic, we're coming to the crossroads, America. We are at the crossroads, and God gave me a word 2 years ago and said America will have to choose whether they're going to be under God or not in the summer of 2016. I don't know what that means. Is it a Supreme Court decision that will be coming? Is it something legislatively? Is it something electorally? I don't know, but God give me this word. And so in May, we're going to hold a conference, and I want you to join me in West Monroe, Louisiana on March the 12th for the Take Back America Bible Prophecy Conference. I'll let you know who all the speakers are, but I promise you, I'll be bringing a powerful word from the Lord. And he has arranged the very hour that we're going to be. Don't miss it. Help me join me for it. We'll put an event page up here in the next day or two. I hope Heidi can get it done maybe by tomorrow so that you can join in and start registering for this great conference. We need to stay with Israel. Part of taking back America is building a strong alliance with Israel and our allies abroad. Pray, would you please? America's in trouble. Give your life to Jesus Christ. We are running out of time. The Lord is coming soon, and he's coming after those that are ready. Are you saved? Are you serious? Are you serious? Folks, you're looking at a fire blazing out of an apartment complex, Paris, France. The deadliest fire in Paris, France in years. 8 people dead. 4 critically injured, people jumping out of the windows. This fire was so hot it affected 15 buildings around it. It's just a horrible scene. And they've arrested a man that they believe is the arson. And they say he started this fire with a candle and a lighter. And you know, I mean, are you serious? I got to ask I know you don't want me to, but is this terrorism? I mean, I know you didn't want me to ask it, but I mean, until these radical Islamic Muslims stop chopping people's heads off and just terrorizing with explosives and everything else that they do, then I'll quit asking. But, you know, Paris has been under siege. They've been under siege. And I'm not saying that this case is that, because I don't know. Might not be at all. But you got to ask. You just got to ask. We're running out of time, folks. The Bible says, because iniquity abound, the love of many waxes cold. And that's exactly what's happening all over the world. Don't be left behind. Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're running out of time. Are you serious? Are you serious, folks? You don't want to miss today's live broadcast. Starts in a couple hours at 12 noon Eastern. At 12 noon Eastern, my guest will be Bible teacher Paul Franklin. We're going to be talking about the Nephilims, the return of the giants. He has done a powerful, unbelievable research study dating back from the flood, before the flood even, until present day. And unbelievable how the manifestation of these giants has been going on, folks. Oh my Lord, have mercy, has it been going on. And we are continuing to see unbelievable information and just proof. You know, I had L.A. Marzulli on last week one day. Of course, he does a great job. And so Paul Franklin may have taken us to another level with some tremendous research to give you the historical origin of the Nephilims and how these hybrids, who were from the fallen angels that, of course, went among the women of the earth, and they bare them sons that were giants. Now, it's in the Bible. The Bible even says in the book of Genesis, chapter 6, that there were giants in the land before and after the flood. We will share all of this with you in today's live broadcast. Don't miss it. 12 noon Eastern. Go to my website at www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. That's www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. You're going to see how the ancient pyramids, the Sphinx, these on several Stonehenge, and many other things, how they're tied to the giants that were on the earth, and how that spirit, that seed of Satan, is still here today. We're going to pull it all together for you in a powerful study. Bible teacher Paul Franklin will be my guest, 12 noon Eastern. You don't want to miss it. God bless.